Sometimes destiny arrives disguised as a rabbit. A rabbit escaped the slaughter, and a woman realized maybe she could too. It was 9 a.m. Time had evaporated as Gita Hangal swerved her cycle toward Reddy's Ayush rabbit farm. The rain had soaked the grounds to mulch. Even though it wasn't her responsibility to procure raw materials, she had faced such intolerable imperfections in the past in the quality control department that she had taken it upon herself to nip the evil at the source. Over the years, every fortnight, for no extra pay, she would trundle to the stops on her list to purchase materials that could pass muster at her table of scrutiny. In the rabbit farm now, she walked past rows of baby Soviet chinchilla rabbits, holding her dupatta over her nose. Today, a battalion of school children milled over from a field trip, their teacher lecturing them. "What is a rabbit made up of, eh?" She waited before she continued. "Kids, kitchen waste, polyunsaturated fatty acids, white meat, wool, pelt, manure, vermicompost. Isn't it, eh? All that makes up a rabbit?" "No," muttered Gita to herself. "Wool 8 times warmer than sheep's wool when mixed with silk, polyester, rayon, nylon for hand-knit apparel that the world needs. All that makes us human and the world too." She waded through the tunnel of mustiness and mammal droppings. The clucking, chugging, and scratching of paw nails against the wood and rotting radishes in the mud made her hold her dupatta tighter over her nose. As the school children clung to the meshes, some pushing food from their tiffin boxes into the cages, and one schoolboy pointing to a rabbit saying, "This one is in disguise. In the night, it will become a king." To the far end of these corridors, as Gita reached a dimly lit shed, she saw the owner of the rabbit farm, Reddy, hold a rabbit, planting his feet firmly in the sludge. He attached a metal clasp to its mouth and inserted a pole into its rectum, electrocuting it. He then surveyed it for unruffled fur and grabbed another live rabbit to do the same to it. But that rabbit fiercely bit him and, stamping its foot on an ink pad, jumped on a heap of fur strips as it made its escape. Reddy winced and shouted. Gita watched in amazement as the rabbit shot out of the shed into broad daylight. Her eyes twinkled with the feelings of liberation. "Did you see it, scoundrel?" said Reddy, dimming the light and washing his hands. "It chose its own destiny," said Gita. Rolling up his lungi to his knees, Reddy handed her 2 polythene bags, one of fur and the other of leather strips. "Madam Gita Devi, please check these for quality." Gita inspected the contents, wincing as she touched the leather and warm fur strips. As Reddy chuckled, "Why, Gita Devi, what did you have for Sunday's lunch, if not chicken, mutton or fish? Remember, one needs a good death for a good afterlife. And don't take that first strip. It has the bloody rabbit's foot mark on it. Take another one." "Rather, it's lucky now," said Gita, grazing her finger on the rabbit's foot, black ink etching. "I'll take it. Change of destiny, afterlife." She shrugged. "I coated these strips with top-class chemicals. They have dried now. No need to worry," said Reddy, as a schoolboy came rushing up to them. "Uncle, what's the name of that pure white rabbit there?" "Chah! If you keep a name, you have to take it home," said Reddy. The rabbits at Reddy's farms were always in cages. They were folklore to observers, especially school children, until they were fed and fattened to lustrousness. The removal of fur from them could only be done by forgetting their ticking heartbeats under their soft bellies. It made it easier to stun them before slivering off their fur with a thin knife, separating dead flesh from skin. Another cough of thunder resounded, and the school children began leaving as the rains lashed on the tarpaulin canopy and the rabbits shuddered in their cages. A wild crop of goosebumps crawled over Gita's skin too. She took the bags from Reddy and retreated. She could never get used to the cloying smell of the cages, no matter how many times she visited. Sharing 2 scenes from the first chapter, Making Hay Under the Rain, of my novel, The Fabric Goddesses. At 3 a.m., after the worst day of her life, Gita made a decision that would change everything. At 3 a.m., as spy dogs barked into the dead stillness of the neighborhood, Gita stumbled from her room with an empty water jug, her eyes and nose red from all the crying over the day's events. The drawing room was tidy now. Krishna was asleep on the sofa cum bed, and Golu curled up in the veranda with the smell of urine and rain whiffing off his rug. She walked around the drawing room, touching the sparse furniture, cupboard, cot, and table. They were the building blocks of her life, bought with her own hard-earned money, since the time she had come to this town. She opened the cupboard to find the folded pair of blue jeans on the bottom shelf. She picked it up and raised her palms over it. They probably wouldn't even fit her now. There she unfolded this unread book, this promise that had never borne fruit. She shut the cupboard and opened a drawer that held the only hobby she had allowed herself to keep in all these years. Oddly shaped pebbles and rocks in green, brown, yellow, black, and maroon in a wooden box. She picked up an elephant god-shaped stone as a tear rolled down her face. "A good death for a good afterlife," she whispered, sitting on the floor. No, recoiling wasn't an option for her. Shrinking wasn't. It made life smaller. Reclaiming, spreading was. Making life bigger, spreading like fire. Curbing expenses wasn't the answer. Increasing income was. Curbing life wasn't. Welcoming death with open arms was. She poured coconut oil into her palms, massaging it into her scalp. They said oil cooled the mind. She sat cross-legged, cradling her second-hand laptop, thinking of the men in Chaturdurga's glass cabins. Would she ever have her own cabin someday soon? She grabbed a newspaper, penciled out numbers in the margin, doing the mental math of her BC fund and the workroom salary. She had to take a chance on the promotion. Give up the lingerie shop idea for now. Use her savings for a diploma. Take a second job on Fridays to compensate. Then she did have the certificates Nara and Murli wanted. She clicked on the weekend course mentioned online for a fee of rupees 40,000 and scribbled figures in the margins. Savings, 25,000 rupees. She struck out work bonus, 30,000. She also struck out postal fixed deposit, 50,000. That was for life and death situations. She had dared not touch it. She put 2 more question marks under all of this and clicked open the Indian Academy of Export Management, IAEM Bangalore website. Searching for a pen to quickly total up her savings, she rummaged through her son Krishna's satchel and found only doodles and pornographic diagrams in the notebooks. Chee! What's all this? Fat blue plastic pens rolled out suddenly. She uncapped one. No nib, no refill. Who kept empty pens? She shook Krishna awake. "Hey, what have you been doing? Studying or wasting time?" Messages from the universe are all around us. Sometimes destiny arrives disguised as a rabbit. Would you have followed it? Tell me in the comments. Have you ever seen a moment that made you rethink your entire life? Tell me in the comments. Hi, I'm Rochelle Potkar, and throughout this month, I would take you through few scenes from every chapter of my new novel, The Fabric Goddesses. Come read along with me.